Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Serious Sellers Podcast by Helium 10. I am your host, Bradley Sutton, and this is the show that is our monthly Ask Me Anything training. All right. So, this is something that we do every week, actually, for our Serious Sellers Club and elite members. And then once a month, we open it up to everybody out there to go ahead and have an opportunity to come on and ask questions. And I'm also going to give some cool training tips that will help you this time, especially with your product research. And I'm actually going to be going deep into Project X. All right. So that's why I'm wearing my Project X hat here. I'm going to show you some updates on what is going on with Project X and like my thought process on how I am revitalizing the original product. All right. So actually, I was just live right now on another webinar. Is anybody watching live right now who is with me on that webinar right there? Let me know in the chat. I did a quick wardrobe change in like 30 seconds, and now I'm back on. Put a new background up here. You guys are like, what is going on? How can Bradley be in two places at once? All right, look, we got a lot of people who was on that call. We got Darren. We got Thomas. I recognize the name. Thomas is up in the chat. We have our lure from Argentina. That's awesome. All right. Babette says, no hablo inglés. Pensaba que lo harías en español. Esta vez no es en español, pero maybe later we'll have, tal vez en el replay vamos a tener los subtítulos en español. We'll have subtitles in other languages for those who only speak Spanish or others. Constance in Germany. All right. We got Osla from France. Awesome. Well, guys, just really quick, if anybody is in Germany this week, we will be in Frankfurt on Thursday. So go to H10. Let me put this down. h10.me/Avask Germany. And you guys can come to our event. All right. So come to our event Thursday, hang out with me and Shivali and learn a little bit from some cool speakers. We have an all-day event in Germany. I saw some people were in Germany over there. Awesome. All right, you guys have that written down? Okay, let me get situated here. Perfect. And yes, I will be in Berlin too on Saturday. So if you want to go to there, go to h10.me/Germany. And that's the event I'm doing in Berlin as well. Nothing in France, Patrick. No, probably not this year. So this is your only chance to come hang out in Germany or in Europe with Chevalier and myself. All right. Excellent. Let's get started. Okay. So what I want, how many people know what is Project X? Or does anybody, maybe it's better to say, how many don't know what is Project X or haven't been following along around? By the way, Matt says, how did you switch your outfits and background so fast? I'm like Superman. Yes. Well, hey, I had it all ready here to go. Multitasking. How many people don't know what Project X is? Brenda doesn't. Okay. So basically, Project X is a series that we did on YouTube a few years ago where we found some products and then we basically took it from zero to hero. As a matter of fact, it's here in my background. Let me go pull this product. This is not a green screen. It's a real background. Hold on. Let me pull it and show it to you guys. So this was one of the products that we had. It's a shelf shaped like a coffin. All right. So this was a product that we found, using Helium 10 techniques. We launched it, and now we've sold hundreds of thousands of dollars of this product. And now I was like, hey, let me explain what happened. The sales had gone way down. The seat is not cooperating with me here. There we go. My sales had gone way down on this coffin shelf. And there's a couple of things I noticed. Has that ever happened to you guys? Where maybe your keyword rank starts going down in your main keyword, and now you're unable to make the sales that you used to be making before. Well, that was what was happening with our product. And one of the reasons was that everybody started lowering their price. We used to sell this coffin shelf for like over $30, right? Over $30. And people started coming at 26, 25, 23, even like now $20. They were selling a similar coffin shelf. And so we were like, all right, this something has got to go. Now, if we maintained our keyword rank, we still would have been doing okay. But our keyword rank just wouldn't go up above like 10 or 15 anymore. So what I've been doing is I've been trying to sell out. We actually had run out of stock, but then Amazon miraculously found 25 units of our coffin shelf somewhere. And so the listing went live again. But I've been trying to sell out of this product over the last couple of weeks. And then a few months ago, I started development on something that would kind of replace this product. But let me explain my thought process here. And this is something that maybe one of you guys could do to one of your products. All right. So let me show you my thought process. All right. Hold on. Let me share my screen here. Here we go. All right, so you guys should be able to see our coffin shelf. This is our real product. It was out of stock for like a month, and again, like I said, Amazon just found it again, and so that's why you see a little bit of sales here. But the first thing I thought about, like, regardless if I relaunch this product or start a new one, I wanted to like do something to differentiate my product. Okay, and one of the things was I was like, can I add some accessories into this product? Like, is there something that won't add too much cost for me, but but if I add it, it's gonna differentiate my, product, okay? Let's take a look here. By the way, look at this. Zaid needs to just go ahead and get off this broadcast. He's like, "You've gained weight. You need to start doing Zumba class again." That's some serious shade, Zaid is throwing here, but that's very true. Yes. All right? That's terrible. Um Let me show you what I did. I went and I clicked on our reviews and I was like, what are people using in this coffin shelf? Okay. So I hit the reviews and then I went to the reviews with images. All right. And then I hit see all photos. And then I started looking at what are people who are taking pictures of this product putting into the images that they're leaving with the reviews. All right. And look how many, a lot of people are using these pumpkins, and it looks like there's some light up pumpkins. And then I saw a bunch of people putting crystals. And then I see tons of people putting these like miniature skulls. I don't know if you guys can see that here in the images. More pumpkins, more skulls. And so I'm like, okay, this is something that like people are buying extra and then they're putting it into this coffin shelf, right? What if so that I thought, here's another one, there's pumpkins and other things. I was like, what could I possibly do in order to maybe take advantage of this knowledge? I was like, okay, that's my product. What about some of my competitor products? All right. So here's a competitor product. All right. Let's take a look at their images. All right, this is one of the guys who's just been selling a lot of, trying to sell super cheap. And I look at what are his customers doing? And again, people with coffin shelves. I see, look at this, tons of miniature skulls everywhere. There's a miniature candle that's shaped like a pumpkin. All right, so I'm like, okay, this is definitely what people are doing with these coffin shelves. So the first thing that I started thinking about was, I was like, is there something I can buy that I could put in here that cost me maybe pennies, like less than 25 cents. And I could include it in my package without adding any size. So let me just show you guys. I'm going to open up a new window here and let's go to Alibaba. And I forgot what I typed in. I might have said mini, let's see, mini LED pumpkin candle. I'm not sure if this is what I searched, but it's just going to give you guys a vibe of what I search for. And this is not it because I don't see mini pumpkin. Did I type in mini pumpkin? All right, let me try mini LED pumpkin. Let's see what happens there. Here we go. Okay. Perfect. This is what I started seeing. All right. I was like, nah, $1 for a lot of these. No, that's too expensive. $2. But basically, I kept looking and then I found this kind of thing here. I was like, look at this. Here are some little miniature pumpkins I can get for like 10 cents. Miniature pumpkin for about 10, 15 cents. And that's exactly what I did. The other thing was I wanted to get like a mini decorative skull. All right. And I was like, can I get another skull for like 10 cents or something like that? And sure enough, there was a bunch of these that were super expensive, like $4. I'm like, I'm not going to pay $4 for this miniature skull. So what I ended up doing was I actually found a miniature skull that was a candle. It had a wick, right? And it was only like 20 cents. But then I was like, wait a minute. I am not going to have this candle, like a real candle with a wick, and people put that in their coffin shelf and they're dumb enough to light it and then it burns their house down with the coffin shelf. Like that's not the kind of publicity I need. So I went to that factory and I was like, all right, I want to buy this miniature skull that you have for like 15 cents, but I want to make it not a candle. So can you produce this to me for me for like 20 cents and have it not have a candle wick, right? And they're like, sure, no problem. So I'm like, all right, there's two things, but I'm like, is this enough to really set me apart from the competition? And I was like, no, it's not. So then all of a sudden, I just started doing some just general product research. And now this was around the time of, October, November. So giftable things started getting popular. So I'm like, all right, how can I take advantage of this maybe giftable theme? And what I saw, some of the top selling products, they had these really kind of expensive looking gift boxes. Okay, let me see if I can actually find one um that I'm talking about that really inspired me. Hold on. Let me show you. It was a heart-shaped one. Perfect. All right. This is similar to what I found. All right. So I searched and I found these heart-shaped gift boxes. All right. Large gift boxes. I'm like, good grief. There are whoops. I don't know why I actually clicked on one. I'm like, these gift boxes don't even have anything in it. All right. They're just shaped like a heart. Whatever. These are literally empty gift boxes and people are paying $20, $15, $25 for these things. And then I started looking at some of them and I noticed that they were advertising this as something that people could not only use as a gift box, but then also kind of like for some like trinket storage. Like take a look at some of these images. Like look at this. People were putting like roses in these gift boxes. So it's kind of like an evergreen product. This wasn't this gift box wasn't just a product that, is meant to put the real gift inside, but the gift box is almost the gift product in itself because the person you're giving it to can use it for storage for things like chocolates. They could use it for macaroons like we see. So then now all of a sudden that got my creative juices working. And I'm like, all right, what if I launch this same exact coffin shelf? And not only did I now have this LED light, pumpkin light, and a miniature skull figurine, but I also made a gift box with it. But then I thought, what good use is like a shoebox shaped gift? Like that really doesn't go with the vibe. So then I started looking at packaging factories. I'm like, hey, who can make me a gift box that is kind of like with the vibe of those heart-shaped gift boxes that I saw back in October? But check this. I want to make it in the shape of what do you guys think I did? In the shape of a coffin. So that means the coffin itself, which is again, this product that you see right behind me here, is going to be inside of a coffin gift box that people could then use later for storing their socks or storing their chocolates or whatever. So it's kind of like people are buying 2 in 1. Now, my cost, it's expensive to make a custom box, guys. Let me just tell you. All right. This is not for the weary here. All right. This is not something that is easy to do. This box ended up costing me like $2, like almost as much as the coffin shelf itself, which costs like about $3-4 or so. But I'm like, hey, this is worth it. So I've got my coffin shelf. That's normally like $4. I'm going to go ahead and pay $2 for this coffin bookshelf. I'm going to pay 50 cents for these 2 miniature figurines. And instead of having to sell my coffin shelf at $23, I'm going to go back in the market at like 33 or more dollars. So I'm adding $10 to my retail price, but I'm only adding like $2.50, and 0 I'm adding to shipping. Because remember, if anything, this box is smaller than the box I was having it in. Okay. And since there's a hollow area of my coffin shelf, that allows me to go ahead and put those little trinkets in there. So I'm adding 0 to my shipping, 0 to my transportation costs, very, very little to my taxes, because this stuff only costs like $2, right? And now all of a sudden, instead of playing this price war, I am going to go ahead and sell this product at a premium because nobody else who's selling coffin shelves is going to have this. And I'm not ready to launch it yet. I have it all here in my warehouse. It already delivered to me a couple weeks ago. Let me show you the images that AMZ One Step did for me. Take a look at this. This is just from Google Drive right here. Here's going to be the new listing product. All right. This is the exact little miniature skull that I put LED pumpkin like little candle here. All right, that's one of my infographics. Let's see what else we got here. Here's some new images I got that show the products that are coming with it. There's another one that shows the size of the product. Here's one example of a main image I could use. But hold on, you guys haven't seen the cool part. And then look at this box. This box is epic, guys. It's shaped exactly like my coffin shelf. And look, people are going to see this and be like, oh, wow, I can use this box as like another coffin shaped storage. It's literally like having 2 products in one now, where they can put like dead roses and things. They can put a ribbon on it. Let me show you some other images I have here. There's my infographic of the size. Here, this is super cool, guys. Here is my new coffin shaped box. And then the coffin fits right in there. These are the images I'm going to be using for my new listing. And again, now all of a sudden, somebody types in coffin shelf into Amazon, and sure, they're going to see a bunch of $23, $22 coffin shelves. But don't you think mine is going to stick out with a main image, maybe that looks like this, where it shows I've got a coffin shelf, I've got a coffin storage box, I've got a miniature skull, I've got a miniature pumpkin LED light. It's going to be no competition. I'm going to be priced $10 or more than the other coffin shelves, but my click-through rate is going to be pretty darn good, I think. All right. So this is something that I think is beneficial for anybody out there who are selling products in niches that get a little bit saturated. Okay. They get a little bit saturated and you're like, I don't want to play the price war. And guys, let me tell you, I don't think you should play the price war. So this is Project X. This is our product that you guys know and love from Project X. And it's been selling for like almost 4 years now. And on Amazon, you can't just keep things status quo. Sure, we were successful with this product a couple years ago, and it's still been successful, but it's fallen off because of the competition. That's what happens on Amazon. Does it mean I need to give up right away? No. If this doesn't work, should I close this product? If I'm not profitable, yeah, I probably should close it. But don't just give up just because there's a lot of competition or there's price wars. There's different steps you guys can take in order to try and get your market share back, and where you don't have to play these price games. All right. Do not do a race to the bottom, because that's where all your profit is going to go. So this will be, this is going to be live on Amazon, like probably in a couple of weeks or so. The other test I'm going to do on here, guys, is I'm gonna test this as a separate product with a honeymoon period, or launching as a new variation on this existing listing, taking advantage of those 1,800 reviews I have and doing a test on what works better, getting that new honeymoon period and launching on a brand new ASIN, or launch or taking advantage of all the reviews, but there could be something weird going on the Amazon algorithm that kind of like shadow blocks me from getting past position 10. All right. So that's I just wanted to give you guys a little mini tutorial on a real life experience that I'm doing here for Project X and what I'm doing to relaunch this coffin shelf product. Another thing I'm going to be doing, I'm going to talk about in a future episode, is the egg trays. That was the other product that I was selling for Project X. It's so funny. We got a brand new shipment in, and the factory confused my product with another customer. So they gave me egg trays that's the wrong shape and the wrong finish. It's like a shiny finish. And I'm going to get some money back from the factory, but I'm like, I don't want to throw these products away. I don't want to go without selling coffin or without selling egg trays for months while I have to get the right product in. Can I launch this product as like a new variation, a new product for me? I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do that, next month in next month's episode. And that was the other Project X product. All right. Now, guys, this is now your show. 100% of the rest of the time, I want you guys to put in your questions in the chat box, whether you're watching this on YouTube or StreamYard. And I'm going to one by one get to every single question here. So let's see. Oh, Elena is going to be in Frankfurt. All right. Excellent. So again, if anybody's in Europe, please come to our event this week. I heard though that there's some weird thing going on the trains are going to strike or something like that in Frankfurt. So something crazy going on over there. Hopefully you guys are able to make it out. All right, let's see here. I'm still offended by Zaid. I hope Zaid dropped off, making weight shaming me. So insensitive. My goodness gracious. All right, Mohammed says, "What are you audio interface are you using?" I have a Shure SM7B microphone. I've got a Rodecaster Pro deck. That's just part of my setup here. And no, I do not have a preamp. How did Violet says, "How do you find the supplier for the coffin box?" So for me, I actually have a sourcing agent. Okay, so I think this is super important. My sourcing agent is boots on the ground in China. I just give her the parameters of what I'm looking for, and she goes out and finds it herself for me. Rhonda says, "Does the manufacturer design the new coffin shaped box for you?" No, I designed it. So I just told my sourcing agent, I was like, "Hey, I want something that fits the exact shape of my coffin so that it doesn't add to my shipping dimensions, and make it happen." And that's what she did. All right, next question here. Oh, great question by Jonathan. "Once you find items to create differentiation, do you ship these to the main supplier who boxes it all together?" Yes. So this is another way to kind of like foolproof yourself against, like manufacturers doing shady things. So you can just send the products directly there, or you could send it to a third party. Like maybe you have a separate place that packages everything for you. Like maybe I can send everything to the where I get the package. Actually, I think that's what I did. Instead of having the coffin shelves packaged at the coffin shelf factory, I think I send it to the packaging company that has the coffin shaped box. And that's where they put in the coffin shelf, and they put in those little trinkets that come from now 3 different factories, making it that much less likely that, somebody's just going to copy exactly what I'm doing, because I'm making it too difficult for them to copy me. David says, "Do you have any reference for an agency that does A+ content?" I've used a few myself. So the 2 I've used are both in hub.helium10.com. All right, go to hub.helium10.com. One of them is AMZ One Step, has done it, and then the other one I've used is Marketing by Emma. All right, Marketing by Emma. So go into hub.helium10.com, look for both of those companies, and you'll see how to contact them. Elena says, how about Amazon brand gating? Yeah, Amazon brand gating is very good. The problem is you usually, like 99% of the time, historically, you can't control Amazon brand gating you. Like, it just happens sometimes. All right, you can't just say, "Hey, Amazon, please gate my brand," and then they say like, "Yeah, yeah, no problem." No, usually it's Amazon just chooses your product to do that too. Rhonda says, "Does the honeymoon period give you an advantage? If so, what's the advantage?" So the honeymoon period is not an official Amazon term. It basically refers to the period of time when Amazon doesn't have a lot of information about a product. So it doesn't know what keywords it's good for, what keywords it's not good for, how customers interact with it. So there's this, few week or a couple months, sometimes period of time where little effects have a lot more impact compared to a listing where Amazon's got tons of data points because it's 6 months old, right? So like somebody buys a product after a search of a keyword, it has more of an impact in when a product is brand new compared to like a product that's 6 months old. That's what kind of like in a, oversimplification of what the Amazon honeymoon period is. And so that's the advantage. The advantage is you can get to page one on the keyword that you're not on page one on a newer listing a lot faster than a mature older listing. Husiva says, "Hey Bradley, what's the name of the 3PL company that you work with?" It's called Bradley Sutton. All right. I literally my own 3PL company. I have a not company, but I have my own warehouse here. And so I manage all that. Now, if you're asking about the one I used to work with, like before I work at Helium 10, that is in the hub, yeah, you can go to hub.helium10.com and type in creative. They've got offices in Europe and US and UK for 3PL. I was one of the co-founders of that company way back in the day, but I'm not. I don't work for them obviously anymore. But Kreassive. Type in that inside of hub.helium10.com. Carol, not sure what your question means. Maybe it got cut off. It says when you create W. What do you mean by that? Maria says, "Haréis directo desde Alemania." No, I am in the United States right now. I am going to Alemania or Germany tomorrow. I'll be in Germany, Mario. Brenda says, "What videos do you recommend for beginners on Helium 10? If you're brand new on Helium 10, I recommend going through our Freedom Ticket program. It's in the Learning Hub, right there on your Helium 10 dashboard. Um, that would be probably the best thing to do. And then you could find the Project X videos in there as well. And the Project X videos are also on YouTube." Naeem says, "What do you think about the new Amazon update regarding low inventory fee?" I think it sucks. There's no way around it, but it's kind of like hard to say how it's going to be. Let's see once it's fully integrated. I know it's going to have bugs. There's so many different things that you kind of like are outlier problems that could come up. Like, what about seasonal products? Like what's low inventory in right now for Christmas lights? Like, should I be having inventory for Christmas lights right now because my inventory velocity in December was really high? No. So how Amazon is going to deal with stuff like this, it's to be determined. I'm sure it's going to work itself out. But yeah, initial reaction, of course, is that it sucks, but it is what it is. And hopefully it'll work out for the betterment of Amazon sellers down the road. But in the beginning, it's going to suck. Sergio says, "Just launch. What would you say is a good amount of sales per day to aim for?" All depends on your keyword. All right. Basically, if you want to get to page one of a keyword, you got to be selling probably through PPC for that keyword, X number of products over 8 to 10 days in order to be able to get a good chance to get to page one. And if you're wondering how to find that number, that's inside of Helium 10. Just look at the CPR. So add your product to keyword tracker, your exact ASIN, and then look at the CPR number for your main keywords. And that's kind of like how many units you need to sell over 8 days to give you the best chance to get to page one. Rami says, "When optimizing, what is the frequency? Every day or week? What is the look window?" Are you talking about PPC or your listing? Two completely separate things. For PPC, I optimize my PPC, or I take a look at it once a week, and I always do a look back of either 45 to 60 days for my look back period. All right. If you're talking about optimizing your listing, like your keywords and stuff, um, like I'm not making drastic changes to my listing that often, but I have my insights dashboard in Helium 10. It's the dashboard that we have. I set it up for custom notifications. I want to know like when is one of my competitors getting sales from a new keyword that maybe I don't have in my listing. Now, if that's the case, then what I do is I get those keywords, I put it in my listing. I don't rewrite my whole entire listing, but if my competitor is getting a sale for a keyword, I don't want to delay and not have that keyword in my listing. So I'll go ahead and put it somewhere in my listing and maybe start a PPC campaign on it and try and get to page 1. But instead of me having to run Cerebro on my competitor once a week, Helium 10 does that. If you've got the diamond plan or above, you set a insight alert on your dashboard to say, hey, if my keyword rank is 0 and 0, meaning I'm not ranked, but my competitor is on page 1 between 1 and 10 for a keyword that has over 500 search volume or whatever parameter you usually do in Cerebro, you can actually make Helium 10 deliver you a notification when that happens. So I never have to worry too much about not having my competitors' keywords in my listing. Let's keep going with the questions here. How do you determine a PPC budget? All right. Well, PPC budget has to do with your budget too. Okay. Like you want to be profitable at the end of the day, but if you've got an unlimited budget, go crazy on PPC as long as you're profitable. You know, if you've got a limited budget, nothing wrong. Start off with some smaller keywords first, work your way up. All right. 100% you should be based on your budget, not like a standard for a keyword or things like that. You know, you should never try and spend beyond your means. Misamu says, do you have all the different items? Oh, yeah, I already answered that question. Okay. Carol says, when you create a product and let a company in China produce it, how much do you pay for the samples? So for me, I usually don't pay anything for the samples, or I pay something for it like $50 or $100 or whatever, but then I have it in my agreement where if I place an order with them to actually get that product produced, they decrease my invoice by that $50 or $100. Ali says, let's go, Bradley. These 2 sessions really lifted my spirits up in the process of launching my product. Was in doubts. How do you deal with the thought of whether the product will work or not? Well, I validate. All right. Super important. We've been talking in the last, you might have been in our Seller's Edge webinar where we're talking about how to find the product opportunity, but that's only half the journey. The next step is how to validate it. All right. You see something that looks good, but you don't just blindly say, all right, let's go with this. All right. And let's make $1 million. No, you've got to validate it. All right. Now there's different steps that you have to do. So I take a look at, how strong are they on keywords? How strong are their listings? Is there enough demand for this product? Is there enough sales? Is there enough search for this? What's the seasonality? There are so many things that I look at to validate it. And then in Project X, we talk about before, you might want to do a test listing. If there's not enough data, maybe you came up with some new idea that doesn't have enough validation points on Amazon for you to make a rational decision, you might need to make a test listing to try and get those data points. Right. So who knows? Maybe that'll be the next Seller's Edge workshop that we do next month to talk about that. How did you initially acquire your sourcing agent? Violet says, a great question. Never, ever, 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 ever just go with somebody who cold calls you or somebody random who you don't know randomly suggest them in a Facebook group or a Reddit or something. Say, hey, anybody have any sourcing agents to recommend? Don't do that. And if you see it, hide that message. The only sourcing agents you should ever get is if somebody you know and trust recommends them. I'm sorry, but that's just the case. And that's how I found it. I had somebody in my network who knew I was looking for a sourcing agent, and he's like, I got somebody for you, and I've been using her ever since. All right. So nobody use somebody that just comes from somebody you have no idea, because you don't know what kind of riffraff is out there. Sean says, we hear it's a nightmare finding sourcing agents. Why is it so hard all the time? But why is it so hard? Is there's just too many people out there who try and front like there's something that they're not really. Oh yeah, I've got all the contacts in the world. I can totally find this product for you, and they're just in it to make a buck. And You have no way to validate. Yeah, it's not easy to find a great sourcing agent. That's why when I have these promos, guys, um, for hey, I'm gonna open my sourcing agent to you, and like you got to take advantage of that because that's pretty valuable stuff. If you guys watched our Sellers Edge webinar, you'll notice that I had said that hey, anybody who signs up later after watching this webinar, I didn't have any offers or anything like that during the webinar, but I said, hey, if you get an email from Helium 10 to upgrade and you watch this webinar, I'm gonna give you my sourcing agent. Like you gotta take advantage of that stuff like that, guys. That's crazy. But am I the only person who can give you a sourcing? No, there's plenty of people. This is why I always say, guys, build your networks. Go to events. Go to the Prosper Show. Go to local meetups. Go to this event that I'm doing in Frankfurt this week, the event that I'm doing in Berlin this week. Meet other sellers. Start to, make sure they're legit, by having them in your network. And then, yeah, this is how you can get recommendations on sourcing agents or shipping agents and things from people that you know and trust. Do you have to get new certificates to the LED pumpkin? No, I don't because it's just like a super simple product that doesn't have any like special big batteries or doesn't emit UV or all those other things. So no, I don't need to get certificates for that. And if I did, I don't have to worry about that because again, my sourcing agent is the one who takes care of all that stuff for me. Like if I need a special wood certificate, I never have to worry about all that because she takes care of all that for me. I am from Switzerland. Is the event in Frankfurt, especially for the German marketplace? No, it's for all marketplaces. All right. For US marketplace, European marketplace is for everybody. So it'd be awesome to see you there. Jacob says, I've been using Opportunity Explorer on Seller Central. Is there a good minimum for number of top clicks products? Excellent question. So for me, this is how it can go either way. So for those who don't know, in Product Opportunity Explorer, the number of clicked products, it's the number of products that it takes in a niche to equal 90% of the clicks. So if there's only 10 products, that means that those 10 products have 90% of the clicks of that whole niche, right? If it's 1,000 products, that means it takes 1,000 products just to get to 90% of the clicks. Whether one is good and one is bad, you can go both ways on that. But that's how you look at that information. There's different circumstances where you might want to see different things. You might want to go into a niche where it's wide open, where there's no 10 products that are dominating. Or on the flip side, you're like, no, the 10 products that are dominating, they kind of suck. So I don't want to compete with 1,000 products. I want to compete with only 10 products who suck, right? So that's another way you can look at it too. GR says, what's your suggestion for a newbie to get the first 100 orders selling one of the best-selling products? Well, I personally never get into a niche where it's a best-selling product just because I don't want to have to deal with that kind of competition. And when you have that kind of competition, that's when a lot of like riffraff happens with black hattery and things like that, where sellers attack you. But regardless of the niche I'm in, to get your initial products, it's going to be a really extensive PPC campaign and pricing. So I'm going to have a huge discount where I'm losing money in the beginning. And then I'm going to have a PPC to make sure that I'm showing up at the very top. Lure says, what's the best category to start with? I'm new in the Amazon seller world. Is Alibaba the best option? So if you're new for Amazon, I wouldn't say there's a best category. I mean, there's maybe some categories you might want to stay away from if you're brand new, like maybe not great to do something in cell phones or electronics or something. But there's not, home and kitchen is kind of okay for newbies, but really any category almost you can find some opportunity even if you're new. And if you're new and you're to sourcing, 100% Alibaba is the best option to get started with. Constance says, what role does the first ASIN that I select play when I select ASINs on X-Ray to run them on Cerebro? You always say the first ASIN should be a random ASIN, not the top seller. Yes. So that sets the baseline product. All right. The way that Cerebro is set up, it's supposed to be you have your product as the first one, and then 5 or 10 other products that you're comparing it against. So then when you look at the competitor rank average, it's excluding that first one because that's the one that you're comparing to. But if you're just doing general product research like on X-ray, you maybe don't have your product on there, right? So you don't want to select all the just top 10 good ones because remember, it's going to exclude that first product. So you need to click on the first one, something from the bottom of the page that's maybe irrelevant to your product. And that's the one that it isolates. And then the competitor rank average and the sponsored rank average of the competitors, it's going to be all of those subsequent 9, 10 products you choose. Good question, Constance. Misamu says, sorry about what Zaid said. Sometimes the cultural thing where they don't think it's rude, just ignore them. You look great. I appreciate that, Misamu. My self-esteem has gone down. But no, it's true. Like I need to start doing Zumba again. I'm a little bit on the heavy side. Who did you say did the artwork for your new coffin shelf? If you're talking about those images, those product photography, it was AMZ One Step that I used. And they're in hub.helium10.com. Really great interactions, guys. Keep these questions coming in. Good stuff. So Sufian says, what is the recommended stock to start with a product that sells 2 to 3 units per day? Um, I mean, it depends, like might not matter what the recommended stock is. What's your minimum order quantity? So if it only sells 2 or 3 a day, you better hope that the minimum order quantity is only 500, not 1,000, because that's going to take you a year's worth of inventory to do, right? So always check what is your minimum order quantity, and you want to have, I would say, 3 months of inventory at least in the pipeline at all times, especially with the new Amazon requirements for minimum level of inventories. Something that you need to keep in mind. Do you have any advice for PPC and variation listings? I've recently added a 10 pack to my 20 pack listing. Should I use my parent ASIN and PPC or individual child ASINs? I always use individual child ASINs. So if I have an existing one where it didn't have variations before, that means all of my PPC was going to that variation. So I might start a new campaign that tests some of those keywords and sees maybe the new variation is actually going to get a better click through rate than the old one. Um, like for color, especially, you want different PPC campaigns, right? Like maybe not so much variation. So maybe after a while, you can just put the quantity variation in the same campaign. Some people do that, but like for me, I have a black coffin shelf and then I've got a pink and a purple coffin shelf. I'm not going to target my black coffin shelf with the keyword pink coffin shelf. That would be stupid, right? So that's why for my color variations, I have it segregated out. But you can go both ways on that. Candy says, you said you have a search agent. What do you mean by that? Sourcing agent, not a search agent. Sourcing agent. That means somebody who is in China and who goes and finds the factories for me, handles my shipments, handles getting the samples, handles negotiating price, all that stuff. Sergio says, currently doing PPC ACOS is high as expected, but when should I lower bids or negate keywords if spending too much money? So if you're doing a high ACOS because you're just launching, yeah, that's to be expected. But basically you lower it, you start lowering it when you get your organic rank. Or sometimes you might need to keep it high. But if you keep it high, it's what you decrease your discount on your product. So you might have a coupon that's like 50% off in the beginning, right? My PPC cost is X. My PPC cost might stay the same, but if I already have increased my organic rank, maybe I'll go to a 25% discount. Maybe I'll go to a 10% discount. Eventually, I'll get to a 0 discount on it. That's what I change before I start changing my PPC. Now, if your product is mature, now you have to be profitable with your PPC. Now um, you start adjusting your PPC to be profitable, but not until I've already reached my target organic ranks for keywords. Rhonda says, how do we learn PPC to advertise our product? If you have a Helium 10 account and you have your Seller Central account tied to your Helium 10 account, what I suggest doing is going to the Learning Hub and going to PPC Academy. PPC Academy. All right. All right. Give me a second, guys. Zaid, who is making fun of my health. I am a very sickly person. This is all my pills, like an old person. So hold on. Got to take a second here to take what is today? My Monday AM pills. Hold on, guys. That's what happens when you get old. Gain weight, and then you have to take 1,000,000 pills. We are doing the show live, guys. All my imperfections come out here. All right, what else do we have here? Constance says, regarding low inventory, just do oversized so you won't be affected. It's for normal size. Not sure what you meant there, Constance. Salfedin says, can I be on the first page without using PPC ads? It's hard. I would always recommend using PPC. Do you use, Morris says, do you use follow-up for your products? 100%. 100% of my products, I use Helium 10 follow-up. Now, here's the thing. In the beginning, this is where it gets a little bit murky. If I'm doing a 50% off on my product, I actually don't turn follow-up on. This is just me personally. I don't want people leaving reviews who got a 50% off coupon. That's just me. Why? Is that an Amazon terms of service? No, it's not. The reason why I say that is because I don't want any kind of sign of impropriety on Amazon side where it's like, wait a minute. Excuse me. Where Amazon says, wait a minute, here's this seller giving 50% off, and then they're asking for a review. It might seem like manipulation to Amazon. So just to be safe, I don't turn follow-up until my discounts are not so heavy, or I set follow-up to say, hey, if it's more than this percent of discount, do not send it out. And then what I use for Helium 10 follow-up is the request a review template. That's all I use. Request a review template. I don't do the custom email. David says, hey, Bradley, would you consider a live step-by-step on how to optimize PPC keywords? Special, how do you weed out your customer search terms? Yeah, I think I've done that before. Was it on this call? Take a look. Go to our YouTube channel. David, you're watching this on YouTube right now. Like, find the episode where I said how Bradley does his PPC campaigns in 20 minutes a week or something like that. It was an old solo episode I did. And I kind of did that already. Rami says, do you have plans to link Atomic with keyword ranking in which we can set a rule for bidding condition on the keyword rank? Absolutely. We already can do that in our pack view, and you can actually see your keyword ranks inside of Atomic already from Keyword Tracker. Adding a rule for that, absolutely, Rami. We're working on that. If you want to make it faster, make sure to send in a request to Helium 10. Just say, hey, guys, can you please add this? Let me show you guys, by the way. You know what? Right now, we got over 100 people on here. I want everybody to do this right after this call. I'm so stupid. I should have done this on that webinar that I was just on. This is what I want you guys to do. Let me share my screen here. Okay. At the very top of your Helium 10 screen, you'll see this button way up here. It says Beta AI. It's like, looks like a magnifying glass with some stars. All right. I want you guys after this call to click that. Okay. Don't do it right here in the chat. Click this. And then right here on the chat window that comes up, hit, I have an idea that I want to share with Helium 10. And then I want you guys to give your best requests. And who was talking about that? Rami, that's exactly what I want you to do. What you just said right here, Rami, about Atomic and keyword ranking, I want you to go ahead and put that in chat. Or not the chat, into that AI thing. Brian says, what's the legalities of selling wholesale? Am I allowed to resell someone's items if I had a wholesale account with them? Yeah. So if you're talking about Amazon, as long as it's the genuine product, you can sell anything as long as Amazon lets you. But as far as if you had an agreement with a company that has what's called MAP pricing, what does that stand for? Like minimum advertised product or something like that. MAP pricing means you have an agreement that you can't sell at below a certain price. As long as you're, maintaining that, you should be okay. But that's on a case by case basis. With Amazon, all they care about is if you have the rights to sell it and you are selling the exact product advertised. You can do that. That's, okay with Amazon. Rafael says, when I choose a fabrica, which means factory in China, after seeing their products on Alibaba and I contact them directly, how do I make sure the payment I make to that factory is secure? Well, I would do everything through Alibaba.com if you're worried about that. And you're going to want to select what's called trade assurance. Make sure the factory has trade assurance and do your transaction through Alibaba.com. Then you don't have to worry about you know your payment being not secure. Constance says, if you have a good sourcing agent, can the expenses you save cover the cost of the agent? 100%. People ask me, how much do I pay my sourcing agent? I have no idea. I pay my sourcing agent for everything, my shipping, my package, the product, everything. How much money does she make off of me? I have no idea. And guess what, guys? I don't care. You know why? She could be making 50% for all I care. The reason why I don't care is the prices that she gets me that I pay her is cheaper than what I can get historically if I try and go directly to the factory. So if she's making a 30% markup on me, good for her. It's still cheaper than what I can get it for. Now, I don't think she's making 30%, but you see my point. Some sourcing agents, they just want to add like a set fee. That's fine too, But for me, it's just so much easier. I just pay her for everything, right? And I just know I'm getting a cheaper rate. Simon says, when should you start looking into whether your potential product has any patent infringements? Yeah, I mean, you should be looking at that in the beginning. So before you start go and order the product, you should probably definitely look at that if you think it's a possibility, before you actually cut your PO. And it's for some people, maybe it's before you even go get samples from a factory. Facebook user says, do you need a new ASIN for the new set? You're probably talking about my new coffin shelf set. I'm doing it with a new ASIN, but I'm also going to do it with the original ASIN as a test. Technically speaking, from Amazon's point of view, they want you to do a new ASIN if the product is materially different. All right. So technically, that's what Amazon wants. Jonathan says, when validating, do you order a smaller quantity then build up? Or do you validate mostly with online data points? I validate mostly with online data points, but if I don't have enough, that's when I do a test listing and I'll have like 5 or 10 units only for that. And selling out can impact organic rank. Yes, but nothing wrong with selling out as long as you're going to replenish within a couple months. Crystal says, how do I know what categories are restricted to me to sell as a beginner? What you do is you find if you're in a certain category that you're looking into, just pretend that you're going to start a new listing in that category and it'll tell you right away. Like say add a product to the catalog. It'll tell you right away if you need some kind of approval from Amazon before selling in that category. Ali says, where did the PPC Academy go from inside the Learning Hub? It's still there. So Ali, if you go into your Learning Hub in Helium 10, as long as you have your Amazon account connected to your Helium 10 account, in the Learning Hub, right under Freedom Ticket, you'll see the PPC Academy. And if you have your Amazon account connected and you don't see PPC Academy, open a case with customer support and they'll help you find it. Event recommendation, Frankfurt or Berlin, which one would you recommend? Due to the train strikes, it's almost impossible for me to get to Berlin. My feeling is Frankfurt is smaller. Interesting. Yeah, the Frankfurt is smaller. And if you live in Frankfurt, obviously it's better just to go to Frankfurt. But I would go to both because Berlin is a huge event. Probably like 200-300 people are going to be there. Really great speakers, really cool stuff. That's why I'm doing that one. But if you live in Frankfurt, then just go to the Frankfurt one if you're unable to get to Berlin. Jorge says, is custom product packaging important or should I just toss my product in a clear poly bag? If you're just starting off and there's like no competition, do you need a really fancy, product package? No, not necessarily. I haven't had a product package for years for some of my products. Nothing that special. But as you get more competitive, that's the kind of things that you need to do to set yourself apart from the competition. Facebook user says, how do you handle pricing with a sourcing agent? How do you know that they're not secretly taking commissions from the factories and raising your price? Again, I couldn't care less if they are. Maybe they are. Good for them. It's still cheaper than I can get on my own, so I'm totally fine with it because she's that good. All right. So is that the case for all sourcing agents? Could they be ripping you off? Sure. But you know, because you've done your own research on what you can get for prices, and you know if you're getting ripped off or not. AI for PPC, any suggested services? Just use Helium 10 Atomic. That's all you need. Helium 10 Atomic has AI bidding adjustments for you. You'd be totally fine with Helium 10 Atomic or PackView, which is also a Helium 10 company. Is it a good time to start selling on Amazon despite all the rising costs around the world? Great time to sell on Amazon. I mean, everybody's in the same boat. No pun intended. You know, everybody's got, it's not like, oh, one person is able to get product for half of what another person is. No, everybody's has to do with inflation. So everybody is in the same boat. So do prices have to increase? Sure. But everybody's prices have to increase. Rawad says, do you use automated close match or substitute campaigns? Do you think they are not very powerful? Sometimes I do. Yeah, I think you're talking about auto PPC campaigns. I do all match types, close match, loose match, substitutes. Sure. Sometimes they don't work well. I'll go ahead and just pause that target. All right, guys, that's about it for oh my goodness, there's more questions here. That's about it. That all the time that we have today. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode where we went over some Project X updates that you guys will actually see live on the website on Amazon probably in 2 weeks. If you guys are watching this on YouTube or another place, this is what we do once a month. But every week, anybody who is in our Serious Sellers Club or Helium 10 Elite actually gets this call. All right, every single week I'm on here answering every single question. But once a month, we open it up to everybody. So make sure you sign up next month to take advantage of this episode or sign up for Helium 10 Elite. Get on the waitlist, h10.me/elite, and you can take advantage of getting asking me questions every single week. Thank you guys for joining us. Hope to see you in Frankfurt or one of these other shows that I'll be doing. We'll see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye-bye now.